Oi. Okay, it's late. Torah Or, Parshas Noach, page 16. 4 lines from the end of the first column. Okay, now the Rabbi asks a question like this. It's not understood, the whole concept of the Mabul. If Hashem just wanted to destroy the sinners, why did Hashem have to make a whole scenario that he had to build an Ark Teva for 120 years, and the animals with the kosher animals, the whole Megillah? Hashem could have gotten rid of everybody without any Mabul, so what's the purpose of the flood? So now the Rabbi explains the purpose of the flood was not to kill the people, it was to purify the earth. It was a massive mikveh. We know a mikveh is 40 sa, and the Mabul came from 40 days. So how do you purify the world? You put the world into a Mabul, so the whole world's into a mikveh. The whole world was full of corruption. It became very corrupt, and it needed Pasha to be purified. Therefore, it's interesting. The Medrash says that the Mabul destroyed 3 tvachim, between 9 and 12 inches, of the topsoil. Why? Because we learned 3 tvachim is like all connected. So the world became so corrupt, the earth itself, 3 tvachim worth, 9 to 12 inches of earth, became so corrupt that also had to be purified. So the Mabul actually destroyed, the Medrash says, 3 tvachim of earth. Where did it go? Went to Jupiter. The Torah said to me, I don't know, it went off out of the world. The Torah said to me, similar to the mikveh, which is memsa, which which purifies the impure. Therefore, the purpose of the Mabul is to purify the earth. Like it says in Yecheskel, Hashem says, I will sprinkle upon you, I'll throw upon you the purified waters. Therefore, in a positive way, simply we learned that why is the Mabul called Mei Noach? Because it was his fault. Unlike Avram Avinu went out spreading Yiddishkeit or belief in one Hashem, Noach never went anywhere. So therefore, the Medrash explains, why is it called Mei Noach? Because it's Noach's fault, he didn't do anything about it. Here, the Rebbe is explaining in a positive way. Why is it called Mei Noach? Because it made menucha, it made naicha, it made resting through the purification of the world. Now he says like this, the bondage of making a living is also called Mei Noach, he's also called Mei Noach. Why? K'mayim, as the Medrash says, Shabachal Avram Avinu Shibud Nagid Gehenim. Says in the Medrash that Hashem, by Bris Ben Absarim, gave Avram Avinu an option. Your children are going to be sinning. Do you want them to go to Gehenim, or do you want Shibud, slavery? So it says Avram Avinu picked slavery. That's why the Yidden were in Mitzrayim for, 210 years. What does that mean? Just like it's impossible for a neshama, love a Gan to come to Gan Eden, lihanis miziv hashchina, to benefit and enjoy the Shechina. It needs to go to Gehenim first. I'll explain in a second. By the Rabbi of Rabbi Meir Elisha ben Avoya, the Gemara says, motiv de ladaina. It's better that he gets judged in Gehenim, and to come to Olam Haba, and that's the contra to Nardino. Meaning like this. In order for a neshama to enjoy Gan Eden, it has to be pure. You can't have a blemish, an impure neshama who sinned, go to Gan Eden. Because Gan Eden is a world of purity. So therefore, how does a neshama get pure? So it's like, unlike the other religions believe that hell is a damnation And it's, according to Chassidus, Torah, it's not a domination. It's just a cleansing process. It's a washing machine. You got dirty, you need to go out, you need to wear clean clothes, so you need a washing machine. The neshama got dirty, so to speak, spiritually. The neshama has to go to the party in Gan Eden. You need to be clean. So the neshama has to be cleansed. So that's the concept of Gehenna. Then you have sometimes, Chassidus explains, Gehenna is not enough. You need what's called Chibur HaKever and Kaf HaKela, different various. So what's the analogy of that? Those of you that remember years ago, the old people in this room would remember that even when the washing machines, the women would have it was called a bretel in Yiddish. Like a rough board, huh? A washing board. It would be rough, and then if there were heavier stains that didn't come out by itself in the wash, they would scrub it on that, and then they would put it into the machine, and then, it would be clean. So sometimes Gehenna is enough. Sometimes for additional sins, you need to get an extra cleaning. But the whole concept in Yiddishkeit is that the whole purpose of Gehenna is to be able to go to Gan Eden. It's just a cleansing process. And he says the same thing, Aidei Shiba through slavery, or the slavery of bondage of Parnasa, Yechelim Lalis L'mayla Mayla Madrega Yesigavaya. You can go to a much higher level. That's why Chassidus explains, the Medrash really, all these things are Medrashim, that in order to get Matan Torah, the process had to be a purification, Kora Barzel Mitzrayim, the iron rod, that like the tans the hide, right? Tanning, in order to purify it. Golus purifies the neshama, that he should be able to go to Gan Eden. And he says, V'inei shibud eina pirish mashiach shalenu ata melech. Normally bondage, you think, okay, there's a dictator, a king, and he's controlling you, and he shenei to mitanu mas. And then he takes taxes. He says, no, Eshagam is man Beis HaMikdash. It says like this, even in the time of the Beis HaMikdash, when the Jews had a king, over there the taxes were 10%. In time of Shlomo HaMelech, every Jew's income was taxed 10%. And there were no deductions, no deductions. So what does it mean? What does it mean, shibud of a king? Akavan shebizman shebeis hamikdash hayakayam hayanim shebracha v'ashpa atzuma. There's such an abundance of bracha. The Gemara describes, it's at the end of Ksubas, the Gemara describes that the land flowing with milk and honey. The Gemara says this Tana, this Samaritan walked, and he was ankle deep in honey flowing from the dates. And it speaks about there was wheat that went all the way up to the sky. It was describing the unbelievable, there's an abundance of blessing. That's why the Rambam says, in the time of the first Beis HaMikdash, Shlomo HaMelech's time, the official policy was no converts. No converts. Why? Because then the Jews were on top of the world. There was such an abundance of bracha in Eretz Yisrael. Everybody wanted to become a Jew. Why not? Join the leader. So they said no converts. That was the general rule. Individuals are able to be Magai. Anyway, so he says, they had no problems of work. The Gemara says they had one vine, one cluster of grapes that produced tons and tons of wine. It was like people they didn't have worries of parnasa. It was all there. But now, now everybody has the problems of making a living. And that's also Mayim Rabbim. Just like the flood waters of Noach is called Mayim Rabbim, the waters of Parnasa are also called Mei Noach. Why is it called so? positive. He said, because only through the worries of Parnasa do you come to a spiritual level that you can't come through any other way. In other words, in simple English, problems, challenges, make the person elevated to such an extent that he said, that means the worries of Parnasa, that refining, that torture, like tanning hides, is a purification that allows a neshama to reach a level that he couldn't reach before. What?
So somebody could reach that spiritual level on his own through learning Torah. He shouldn't have something.
Yeah, but they still have it. Because there's a certain uniqueness suffering has that freedom of learning Torah mitzvahs doesn't have. What?
I don't see the similarity between Noah and Parnasa.
Purification, like a filter, it has to be pressure, it has to be a challenge, a blockage. Discussed Monday night in the class. It has to be a blockage in order to purify it. So any blockage a person has, challenges in life, that's why Chassidus comes along and say, don't get depressed in challenges. Look at it, wow. Well, look at Hashem allowing me the opportunity to purify myself to such an extent, there's no other way in the world you could do it.